Hi there, it's Matt Heffernan. Welcome back to my channel. This is a special addendum to my last video, which was the fourth episode of the Z80 assembly tutorial series for the ZX Spectrum. And there were a few issues with that I wanted to address and make sure that folks weren't misled by some of my content in there. So this is an errata video. Not an erotic video, I'm sorry, that's not the kind of content I have on my channel, but if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, I'm sure you know how to use Google. So anyway, I want to just clear up some things, especially concerning the behavior of the CCF instruction. But first of all, to set the record straight with the SCF instruction, which of course still stands for set carry flag. I had that much right, and it does explicitly set that carry flag to 1. So no matter what state you're in, after you do an SCF, C will be 1. But it does actually affect other flags. So what you will see is the H and N flags both getting cleared. But that's it. No other flags are affected, and no values in any registers are changed. So that's SCF. CCF, on the other hand, is a bit different. It does not actually stand for clear carry flag. That is a misconception, mostly on my part, but some seasoned folks with the Z80 were able to point that out, and that it actually stands for complement carry flag. So what it does is it inverts the state of the carry flag, so that if it's currently clear, it will set it, or if it's already set, it will clear it. So that's the actual behavior. And also, like SCF, there are additional side effects for other flags. It will also invert the half carry flag, the H flag, and it will then clear the N flag. But that's it in that case. None of the other flags will be affected, and of course, no register values are affected. Another thing that you can do if you just want to clear the carry flag, there are a bunch of instructions that are guaranteed to do that, including the OR A instruction. And once we get into the episode on logic and math, we're going to learn more about those bitwise logic operations and what they actually mean. So moving on, one other quick thing to get in here is some of the differences between the JP and JR, the absolute jump and jump relative instructions. Now, what I said initially was true, is that JR is only a 2-byte instruction because it's only using an 8-bit relative offset for the target address, whereas the JP instruction uses the full absolute 16-bit address. So indeed, it does take longer to fetch a JP instruction. However, that amount of fetch time, it can be counteracted by the behavior of that instruction. So JR, it's not as simple as I had left it, as I had basically implied that it was. So when you have an unconditional JR, it is 12 T-states or CPU cycles, but in terms of the Z80 processor, folks measure it in T-states. So with a 3.5 megahertz Z80A that's in the ZX Spectrum, you're basically getting 3.5 million T-states per second. So you get 12 of those taken up by a JR. And that's a unconditional JR. Now, if it's conditional and you end up taking it, it's effectively the same as an unconditional, which makes sense, and it's another 12 cycles. But if it's a conditional jump relative and you do not take that jump, so say that whatever state of the specified condition of that JR instruction is not true, then it'll only take 7 because it's not going to do the jump. And so it doesn't have to do the math of adding the offset to the current program counter address. Now, whereas for the JP instruction, there's no math required within the CPU for having to figure out what the next address is going to be. If it's an unconditional jump, it's just going to dump that processor, the address, into the program counter. So it's going to be just those 10 T-states no matter what. And even if it is a conditional JP and you don't take the jump, all of that time is pretty much taken up in fetching that instruction. But because the result of fetching that instruction would just be taking that value that you're already fetching into the processor and fetching into the data bus, you're just dumping it in the program counter that effectively has no time penalty for it. So just 10 cycles for the JP. So that's a thing to consider, is if you are doing conditional jumps, you may want to favor the JR, especially if you know that most of the time you're going through that instruction that condition will be false. So say if it's something like a loop, and that's why it does make sense to use JR for loops more of the time, because generally you're going to loop n number of times, and so n minus 1 of those times it is going to be that not taken instance where it's just going to take up the 7 t-states, and then only that last time, that nth time, will it take the 12. Whereas if you did a JP, you're going to do 10 every time, then that can add up, especially some of these loops can be thousands of iterations. So you're talking, 3 times whatever, 3 times n can really add up, especially when you're only operating at 3.5 megahertz. And as you can see, if you've ever compared this to, say, the 6502, this is a lot of cycles to take up. And this is why a 3.5 megahertz Z80 isn't really much faster than a 1 megahertz 6502. It's really the approach to the processor, it's more cycle hungry, as you can see. And that's something that you really need to consider. So in certain cases, yep, you can do things faster with the Z80, and some things you can do faster with the 6502. It's all a matter of how you actually structure your program and how you optimize it. And that's it. That's all I have for you today. Those are the only bad things I know that were in there. So this was just a quickie, and I hope this further illuminates what I was trying to get across. And I'm sorry if I had misinformed you and then you didn't watch this video. I'm going to make sure this video is linked into the end of the original video, including in a card when I make the very first mistake in there, which is just saying that a jump relative doesn't take as long. And then I'll put another card in there where the CCF is entirely gotten wrong. So that's it. I'll thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.